Okay, hello and welcome to my little tutorial on how to use portable class libraries with Xamarin.Android projects. I will show you how to use async and await in the portable class library, how to use HttpClient, and how to deserialize some objects I will fetch from Rotten Tomato. So since we're fetching objects from Rotten Tomato, let's just call the project Rotten Tomato. So let's create a solution with an Android application. Let's call it Rotten Tomato.Droid for this project, and the solution is just Rotten Tomato, like this. Okay, and let's add a portable class library. And let's call it Rotten Tomato .core. And for demonstration purposes, I will just pick Windows Phone 8 and .NET Framework 4.5. Here the NuGet packages target different platforms, and you will need to find out which one works for you. So yeah, you can play around with that when you make your own project. So now we've got a portable class library here and the Android project. So let's try to add a reference to the core PCL project here. So it will complain because the tooling that Xamarin provides for Visual Studio doesn't support PCL yet, but hopefully it will soon. However, you can add a manual reference by editing the CS project file, which I will show you now. Otherwise, you can also use Xamarin Studio to launch the solution and add it from there. It doesn't complain, at least not in the newest version of Xamarin Studio, which I believe is 4.09, I think. Yeah. So here we add an item group where we add a project reference and include the Rotten Tomato core project. And we need the project ID, so we need to edit this as well, and it's right here, so copy that and project like this, and let's give it a name as well. Like this. So that should be it. So let's reload these projects. And you'll now see that there's a reference here, but there's a triangle because still the tooling doesn't know about the portable class libraries yet. So let's get back to this and delete this class. And now we will fetch some packages from NuGet. So here it's important to select include pre-release here, because the newest stable version of HttpClient doesn't really work with await and async. So let's find that. And accept the license here. And as you see, it will also add some dependencies to Microsoft BCL and Microsoft BCL Build, which allows you to use async and await in your portable class library. So that's nice. And we also need to deserialize some JSON, which is what RottenTomatoes.com outputs on their API. So let's add that. Yeah. So I've cheated a bit and created a class from the JSON output on the Newtonsoft.json webpage, which we will use for deserializing the data. So Rotten Tomato classes, let's call it that, like this. So it just consists of a list of movies and how many movies and some API specific stuff. And each of these movies contain a year, title, synopsis, and ratings and cast and stuff like that. So there's a lot of information you can fetch from Rotten Tomato. I'll just use the title in this case. So and let's add a class to fetch these things. So let's call it Rotten Tomato API. And in here, let's add my token, so we can use that, and add the URL to fetch the movies from. So you use this URL along with an API key or API token and a query term, so it's a search term. So let's add a method that searches for us. So public static, just to make it easy to use, async, because we want to fetch it asynchronously. And then you need to use wrap the return value in task. That's just how you do it with async. So task root object, that's the return type, and let's call the method get movie list, and it accepts a search term like this. Okay. Sorry. So we use a client, new HTTP client like this. Let's resolve that. And we want to grab a message asynchronously, so we need to await it. Client get async, and so we need to add the API token and the search term to the movie list URL. So let's use string format for that. Movie list URL API token search term like this. So now we have the return response message. So if the message is giving us a success status code, we can do some stuff to that. So we want the stream, which we will grab asynchronously. So message content. Why isn't it resolving this? Oh well. Read as stream async. Okay. And since JSON.NET doesn't really gives us the possibility to deserialize streams, I will use a stream reader to this stream reader, and it can be done asynchronously as well. So new stream reader. For some reason the IntelliSense is barking up. Okay, so we want this JSON string, so await stream reader read to end async. So now we got the JSON string, and now we want the root object. So await JSON convert. We need to resolve that, and you can deserialize asynchronously as well here. So sorry, and we want to deserialize from this string. So now we've got the object, and we can return that. And if we're not successful, we just return null. And that should be it for this. Remove the unused references. So let's go this through again. So we use a HttpClient to get a message, a string message from, just a message from this URL, and we read the stream from that and deserialize it into a root object, which contains the list of movies and stuff like that. So let's go back to our Android project here, and we want to display this as a list, so we add a list to the viewer here, like this, and we want to remove these. I want it to match the parent, like this. Okay, let's rebuild it. And the build succeeded, that's nice. So we go to our activity, we just keep the button because we want to fetch when we press the button, and just remove the stuff in here, like this. And then we need a list of titles. So public, no private, lists of strings, titles, and we just instantiate it now. And we want a reference to the list view itself. Let's find it here. Oops, lists, find view by ID, list view, resource ID, list view 1. So now we've got that. So let's add some stuff to the button click here. So when we click, we want the root object, and we want to await that. We want it from the Rotten Tomato API. Why isn't this resolved? Do we still have the reference? Seems so. Rotten Tomato. Ah, of course. So public static. Now it should be able to see it. Okay, so get movie list. I want a list of, let's say, Battlestar Galactica movies. Okay, and that's okay. Now it's complaining, so it says await operator can only be used by in a method marked with async. So let's mark it with async here. And let's make a method to populate the list view. So show titles, root, like this. If we press the button several times, we want to clear the titles lists. So let's loop through the root movies. So for each movie in root movies, we add the titled titles like this, and then we need to create a new adapter for the lists. Let's just use an array adapter and use this as context and use a simple lists item to display the stuff in. So Android resource layout, simple list item, and display the titles. And then we need to invalidate the view like this. So that should be it. So one more thing, we need to add a reference to Newtons of JSON to this project as well. So let's go do that, browse, and yeah, in the packages, just pick .NET 4.5, that works, and that should be it. So let's try it. I have an emulator running here. Deploying. And it runs. Okay, so let's click the button, and boom, now we have a list of Battlestar Galactica movies. So that's practically it. So you see, you can use portable class libraries in Xamarin.Android projects without much screwing around with the code. So it just works. So you don't need to add an XML file to your reference assemblies folder hidden somewhere on your computer like you had to do before. So it just works now. That's pretty neat. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you around in the community. So bye.